What's up, internet? This is a follow-up video on a RX-7 Bump Steer correction. I have a pretty typical setup of anyone who did LS swapped or swapped vehicles in general, where the steering rack is moved from its original location. I have a Samberg subframe with the bump steer correction kit that came from him. It's no longer available. He stopped selling. But it's a pretty typical setup for RX-7s that are swapped LS. So there's a lot of them out there, and everyone's led to believe that their bump steer is actually corrected, when in fact it's probably not as ideal as it can be. So I've got a loaner tool from Matster03. His name's Matt. I don't really know his real name, but it's a Longacre bump steer measuring tool to see if my method, where I just used a laser level against the rotor and plotted it against a piece of paper as you travel the suspension up, if it keeps to continue drawing a straight line, if that's as accurate as it, how close did I come using a professional tool versus just trying to plot on paper, kind of the garage way with what you got. So I'm going to see how close I came in my measurements versus a real tool, and hopefully set a baseline for anyone else that's got a Samberg subframe and his bump steer correction kit, and then what settings you would need using the Pinto tie rod studs and spacers to figure out what is the most ideal setting for that typical setup, so no one else has to do this. They can go straight to that for about $25 in parts. Pretty ideal. So let's get to it. First thing I'm gonna do is get a baseline of what my ride height is for my car. I'm in Wisconsin. Our roads are shitty, so I have to ride a little higher than everyone can do in Florida, where they're laid down to the ground. I did that, I wouldn't have a bumper in a week. So just go from your center point here and measure to the bottom of your fender, and when the wheel's off, you center of the rotor. Can jack that up to that height is the same for me. I got 13.75 on this passenger side here, so we'll use that as our baseline to mark our 0 on the Longacre. So I've taken off the wheel and the caliper to get the face plate of the bump steer gauge all the way to the rotor, and then tightened it up with all 5 lugs just to be super anal about it. For a baseline, this is where I left off using my other method to measure this with the Pinto kit. I have 3 spacers up top and just one below. One below really has no effect other than maybe giving you a little radius clearance for rotation. I don't know if it even needs it, but I just threw the extra one underneath for that reason. And if I need to move it to the top after doing this, I have extra thread because I've already cut my threads to fit my 18-inch wheels. So we'll see where this goes. I've also released the coilover spring so she can free travel without me having to jack up the whole car, just so the arm can move freely. So I got everything zeroed out. 0 on the indicator, 0 ride height, 13.75 for my ride height from the center to the bottom of my fender. So we'll try about 2.5 inches of travel, see what that looks like, and see what kind of deviation we get with the setup I got now. We're at 1 inch travel. Reset the level. Looks like we're at about 9 thousandths. What about 24 thousandths? We'll try to get another 1/2 inch. It's gonna start jacking up the car, I think. 2.5. Looks like about 32 thousandths. Oh, hold on. Gotta correct that with the level here first. That's still about 32. Didn't move. So 32 thousandths over 2.5 inches of travel. Pretty good. That's not noticeable. 32 thousandths of an inch of toe. So we're doing pretty good. I've now moved my last spacer up one to see if we can correct it anymore. We're at 32 thousandths. So we'll see if we can get it to not move at all, or we'll see. Okay, we now have 4 spacers in the tie rod stud. and we'll run the travel again. Oh, nothing. At 1 inch, not a movement. Starting to go toe out now, going the other way, so it's a little too much. 2 inch. Looks like we got 11 toe out, so we're past what we want to do here. At 2.5, we toe out. Let's see, 18 thousandths. Oh, hold on, gotta correct that. Always forget that. Oh, that puts us all the way to another half pump. We're at 32, so we kind of went the other way. We were 32 toe in thousandths, and then I added another, I think that's a 1/4 inch shim, I think. So for a total of 4, and that puts me at 32 thousandths toe out. So it's about half that shim, maybe an 1/8 shim will put us right where we need to be. Maybe I got a washer. It's a 5/8 stud, I think, so I'll see what I find. I can give that a shot. There's also the option, the kit does come with, you can just use a, you don't have to, you can just use a nut instead of the shims, but we'll see if I'd have to find that. I'm not sure I know where that is. See if I can get a couple washers. Try it again. As luck would have it, I have a 1/8 inch washer that will work out nicely. It'll fit that stud. So we'll see what it see with 3 spacers and 1 washer, just to see what the difference is. See if we can get it dead nuts. As goofy as that looks, I got 3 of the normal spacers and an 1/8 inch washer in there now, and we're gonna retest. Okay, with the car a little more level and 3 spacers and 1/8 inch washer, I am gonna jack up the car to 2.5 inches to travel. And at 1 inch, I'm seeing 1 thousandths. At 2, we got 7 thousandths. And at 2.5, a little bit more. And she's level. Tap, tap, tap. 14 thousandths. Awesome. Alright, we'll check rebound going the other way. Don't read anything yet till we, okay, we'll go back to 0. Leveled. Alright, coming down with it. And it's towing in on the other direction too, so towing in both directions. And I believe that means you have too short of a tie rod. But the amount here is negligible. It really doesn't matter. So on rebound, we're towing quite a bit. But the car would never be at this extreme. This is all the way down with the arm all the way down. And we have a total, so 1 3/4 of rebound and about 55 thousandths, not bad, of toe in both directions. So the Longacre has a, if you're towing in on both directions, I believe you have too short of a tie rod, so might be, but this is slicing hairs at this point, so it's not like we really need to make any adjustments at this point. Okay, we're gonna try three spacers, 1/8 inch washer. We're zeroed out. Go ahead and move the car up. And 1 inch of travel. I'm at about a thou. It's 2 inch of travel. We're at 5. thousandths. Pretty awesome. And a little beyond 2. We got 10. We're pushing it beyond 2.5 inches. We'll back it up to 2.5 to get the same number. 2.5. Tap, tap, tap. Looks like 5. Yeah, 5 thousandths at 2.5 inches of travel. Awesome. Send it. Now we'll check on the rebound, see what it looks like going the other direction. So I'll come back slow. Hopefully I got the car high enough I don't sit on my jack. Alright, we're at 0. Tap, tap, tap. Should get close to 0. Didn't quite recover. Alright. So we're at 1 inch. And on rebound we're at 20. I don't think I got much more left. 1.5, we're at 40. 2 inch, maybe 60. Still acceptable. Wouldn't typically rebound that much. Okay, I'm on the driver's side now. I've already swapped out, so I got 3 spacers and the 1/8 inch washer on this side, and we'll go ahead and see if this side is just like the other. Alright, we're at 1 inch, and we are already way out at 36. So it's not the same. Figure that out. I think I just hit my max. It's like 55-ish, 55 thousandths. Yeah, 57 thousandths. So I got that to figure out now. Okay, now we just have the 3 spacers on the driver's side, left side, whatever you want to call it. Okay, at 1 inch we're at 20. Two inches, 30, and 2.5. Looks like we got that magical 32 again, which is actually what we saw on the other side with 3. Not sure why when I add half. Oh, but I'm towing out, not in. Okay, now we're down to 2 shims on the driver's side, left side. See if we can get this going the other direction. Or no direction at all would be good too. That looks good. And now we're towing in the right way. And we're at 1.5 inch to travel at 2. Let's see here. Level that off. We're at 25 thousandths toe in. And at 2.5. About 29. Max it out at 3. Cool, shoots up to about 40. Alright, we got to go in the right direction. I think it's a little too far. I'll probably add the washer back, so it'll be 2.5 essentially. Okay, now I got 2 spacers and the 1/8 inch washer in there. Let's see what we get now. I'm going the other way. Going the wrong way. Huh. I'm gonna toe out. Don't want toe out. Wow. Big difference. Go back to 2, I guess. So, conclusion. What do we do? I was hoping to get a baseline that everyone can use, and I got different results on either side. I think 3 spacers would be the a good round number to start with for most people. I think it'd be better than the Samberg one in general. So yeah, like with 3 spacers, we're looking at a total toe of 26 thousandths. That's really good. You could, send it there. Even if it was toe out, that's such a minimal deviation either direction. Don't worry about it. So that's what we saw on the driver's side with 3S at 32 thousandths toe out, which is, whether it sways left or sways right, it's not very much. So I wouldn't really worry about it. The point is we're rotating around 0, so that's what we're trying to achieve. So 3 spacers seems to be the magic number, I would say. For me, I really dialed in the passenger side with that little 1/8 inch washer, and I got it near 0. But by doing so, I may increase. I didn't really test enough. I may have increased the rebound with toe out more by doing so. I really should have tested both the rebound and the compression to see if it affected it both directions. Because maybe I would have preferred just leaving with the 3 washers for less rebound, but I didn't test that, and you can be doing this all day to trying to find the most optimal settings, but it's, we're close enough. I want to thank Matt for loaning me the tool. It was a neat experiment, and hopefully everyone benefited from this video and you loaning me the tool so they know what they can put on their setup. I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there that didn't build their car, that bought it pre-built and didn't have any concept of what was used. If they know they had a bump steer issue, or there was a bump steer correction kit. So this may help a lot of people that have a car secondhand and maybe think the car feels a little unsettled when at speed or on little bumps. And I know I've been fighting alignments since I got the car together. I've had the car repeatedly bump itself out of alignment and go back to the shop to the point where I took pictures of the alignment settings so I could put them back when they go back. I've tack welded the eccentric bolt so it didn't rotate on me when I hit weird bumps. So I'm almost positive that because of it was probably towing in hard when I hit a good bump, that it was pushing that eccentric bolt. There was enough pressure to make it slip. The alignment shop actually stripped one of my eccentric bolts once from trying to prevent this from happening, from making me not have to come back. And I ended up having to remake those stupid eccentric bolts, and trying to get them from Samberg was hard. I had to source someone local to cut me laser cut that little half moon to weld onto the Mazda bolt. So big pain in the ass. Alignment's been the bane of this car's existence for me. So hopefully, I know I've seen other people have to deal with that. I don't know if you've seen the other video where I put out the bent Tyron stud from the Samberg kit. It was like gouged and bent. So I was fighting that, and that might have been why the car felt weird at times. Maybe the way it rotated, or I have no idea. But get that car start feeling like something more OEM, where you can just trust it a little bit more, especially at speed. I don't know if anyone else dealt with that, but I'm curious. Comment below. Hit me on Facebook, the No Rotors group, or comment. And hey, imagine using the actual forum. That'd be amazing if people went back to forums and didn't ask the same damn questions all the time. A lot of it's documented there in No Rotors. Use it, for Christ's sakes.